on with the next topic in the agenda, which is culture the key word? The speaker is Paolo Zambianchi, HSC Culture Projects and Training Coordinator at WeBuild. In this role, Paolo is in charge of new projects in terms of HSC, including innovation and new technologies, development of HSC culture, and coordination of HSC training. His most important activities are focused on a company safety leadership development program called Safety Builders, for which he's acting as a coordinator and senior facilitator of the program. His purpose is reaching zero accident or better, let his colleagues go back home healthier than they came at work, gets maximum benefit from their work. Oh, we have back Christina. I will finish the presentation of Paolo and then we will say goodbye, Christina. His purpose is reaching zero accident or better, let his colleague go back home healthier than they came at work, gets the maximum benefit from their work, taking care of the environment. This is the vision he had in the last 23 years of experience in construction, oil and gas in the industry sector, acting during these years as a trainer, safety officer, and safety specialist. He is a book and article writer and co-writer. He takes part in the Italian working at tight UNI standards and the Italian training guidelines. He is also an ambassador of an Italian safety cultural movement and self-development trainer. In this presentation, Paolo remembers us that the word culture is widely used in safety in many, many ways. Sometimes it is just an alibi to say zero is utopia because of culture. And I think, having met Paolo many, many years ago, that he has a completely different view from this. Paolo, the floor is yours, but before, thank you, Christina Alexandropoulou, for your intervention. And we will see very soon, I think. Ciao. Paolo, okay. Please go ahead.
Perfect, thank you very much. I'm going to share a presentation, but as you can see, I've chosen to have it on the screen back, so you can see me and you can see at the same time my presentation. So I will share my screen, including audio. This is important, otherwise it can be a problem because it's embedded also a couple of videos. And that's it. Okay, perfect. You have seen the presentation, and I can see it as well. Perfect. So, is culture the key word? That's the question because I think we are talking a lot about safety culture, and at least 50% of my time, but 50% of all colleagues in the QHSC department is talking about culture and especially safety culture. And how many times do we talk about culture in safety? More or less, there are three key elements, which is the safety culture in itself, as a word it's used a lot, the just culture with all the related items like open culture, body culture, learning culture, and so on. And also in the last maybe 2 years, it came out also care culture. Of course, there could be a misleading because of the word care, but a lot of care culture is related to safety and also to retention of people and so on. And also I decided to take a look on trends, on statistics, using Google Trends, comparing just culture, safety culture, and care culture. As you can see in the last 5 years, there was always a focus on these three words, and especially in the last 2 years, there was a little bit more interest, sometimes for safety culture, sometimes for just culture, sometimes for care culture. So I can say we talk a lot about safety culture, but when do we start to talk a lot about safety culture? Maybe the word in itself, the marriage of safety and culture, it was used in some books and some publications, but the most accredited and the first time everyone agreed it was used, this word safety culture, it was after the Chernobyl accident. In the summary report on the post-accident review, it was written, organizations for safety culture contributed to the preventable tragedy. We can agree on this, I guess, but at the same time, it could be an alibi. Oh, sorry, we cannot get some standards in that place or in that country because of the culture that we have there. Or we cannot have this kind of performance, this KPI you're asking us, because here is different, here the culture is different. So many times it could be an alibi, but think about production. We are a construction company. We cannot accept to have a crooked wall instead of a straight wall. Or if you are an automotive, I don't think you can accept to have a car with 3 wheels instead of 4 wheels. So talking about production, even if sometimes I could agree, it's difficult, we cannot accept this kind of alibi. But of course, it's not just an alibi. Because if you look at the definition of safety culture in itself, you can find on the internet a lot of definitions about safety culture, but I decided to use the most accredited one, which is the one from HSE, the Britain National Regulatory for Workplace Health and Safety, which says that safety culture is a combination of attitudes, values, and perception that influence how something is actually done in the workplace rather than how it should be done. We can say the gap, you know? Poor safety culture has contributed to many major accidents, and we saw the Chernobyl incident, and personal injuries, and can be just as influential on safety outcomes as an organization's safety management system itself. So maybe that's the reason why we spend at least 50% of our time talking about safety culture. That it means it's important, I guess. I think you could agree with this definition, but I wanted to go deeper. So I asked myself, okay, safety culture is an urgent word. I think everyone agreed on what does it mean safety. But at the same time, maybe we can have some thoughts, and we will have, but what about culture in itself? I think if we want to change a culture, if we want to measure it, if we want to test it, if you want to make a survey, whatever you want, you need to agree on what does it mean in itself culture. So I decided to find out the most accredited, also this time, definition of this, which is the OED, the Oxford English Dictionary definition of culture. Is the way of life of a people, including their attitudes, values, and beliefs, art, science, modes of perception, and habits and of thought and activity. If you want something more mainstream, this is Wikipedia definition, is an umbrella term which encompasses the social behavior, institutions, and norms found in human society, as well as the knowledge, belief, art, those custom capabilities and habits of the individual in these groups. Culture is often originated from or attributed to a specific region or location. Some talk about Oriental culture, Western culture, Italian culture, Greek culture. So many times culture is related to the country, to a specific group of people. And of course, I think you can agree on this. But in 1966, Marvin Bauer from McKinsey, I think in his book that is called The Will to Manage, I think you get the point. Because he summarized very well all of what we see, which is culture is the way we do things around here. He wrote this sentence related to the corporate culture because his book is what it was around how you can build the corporate culture, how you can maintain the corporate culture, and so on, what this is about. But the way we do things around here. Think about what we saw, attitude, belief, perception, behavior of people, the way we do things around here. That is also the gap between how it should be done and how it actually done, okay? So the way we do things around here, it's a summary of what we are talking about. And also, Dylan Kennedy in 1982 built up what is called the Dylan Kennedy cultural model. They made a research, and at the end of this research, they said, if you want to build a corporate culture, if you want to improve it, if you want to maintain it, you need to take care of set of 6 interlocking elements, which are history, values and beliefs, rituals and ceremonies, stories, heroic figures, the cultural network. But remove the word corporate, remove the word company. Think about the culture in itself. Think about the country culture, your personal culture, the culture of your group of friends, the culture of your family. Isn't it around these 6 elements? It's not just about corporate culture, it's about creating a culture, generally speaking. So also the safety culture. So I decided to go deeper, talking about history, to go deeper and deeper, not just in days or in years, in centuries. And I decided to think about 2 other words that I found in OED. One is Greek, ethos, and one is Latin, mores. Ethos, the characteristic spirit, prevalent tone of sentiment of a people or a community, the genius of an institutional system. Is culture, isn't it? And the Latin version, more pragmatic. I'm from Italy, I'm Latin, so I will talk about the mores, the customs and behavior that are considered typical of a particular social group or community. The way we do things around here, which was the summary of what we saw before, talking about culture, talking about safety culture, and why we are always talking about group of people, country, region, family, group of friends. My company is always talking about group of people. Why do we talk about group of people? I prefer the Latin one, but let me talk about Greece. We are in a Greek environment. Of course, sometimes someone said this is from Seneca, this sentence, but it was for sure written in Aristotle Politics. He wrote, man is by nature a social animal. If you go back in our ancient history, we need to be in a group of people. It's called safety circle. It's called safety net. You need to be in a group of people to protect each other. And last year I talked about the reserve effect and the effect that can have also in your health, preventing cardiovascular diseases, or talking about mental health, how you can protect each other by taking care of each other. That's a care culture, no? So we are social animals. Absolutely we are. And why we are social animals? I mentioned it, the safety circle, but if you look at our basic needs, our hierarchy of needs, according to psychologist Maslow, you can easily see that after psychological needs, which are just having food, water, to sleep, you can have, and you think about your safety needs, personal security. And of course, you cannot protect yourself. You cannot trust just on yourself. You need to sleep as well. So our ancients protect themselves by living in a group of people. The employment, you work in a company, resources, health, property. So it's always a matter of a group of people. If you want to take care of your safety needs, and this is the thought about the word safety itself, we don't think sometimes of the impact on Maslow pyramid on our work, which is safety. And how it is important for people. Sometimes the people tend to think about safety as a boring stuff. Even if, according to the Maslow pyramid, it's something really, really important. So I decided to use a video that I think it can really summarize what we saw so far. Because safety is made by human beings and their interaction. So that's the reason why I decided to use this video that summarizes all of what we see so far.
It's easy to put people in boxes. There's us, and there's them. The high earners, and those just getting by. Those we trust, and those we try to avoid. There's the new Danes, and those who've always been here. The people from the countryside, and those who've never seen a cow. The religious, and the self-confident. There are those we share something with, and those we don't share anything with.
Velkommen. Jeg kommer til at stille jer nogle spørgsmål i dag. Nogle af dem kan godt være lidt personlige, men jeg håber, I vil svare ærligt på dem. Hvem herinde i rummet var klassens klovn? Hvem er bonusforældre?
Who are step-parents?
And then suddenly, there's us. We who believe in life after death. We who've seen UFOs. And all of us who love to dance. We who've been bullied. And we who've bullied others. And then there's us, the lucky ones who've had sex this past week. We who are broken-hearted. We who are madly in love. We who feel lonely. We who are bisexual. And we who acknowledge the courage of others. We who have found the meaning of life. And we who have saved lives. And then there's all of us who just love Denmark. So maybe there's more that brings us together than we think. TV2 Denmark. All that we share.
This is a commercial on television. But think about culture, attitudes, beliefs, perception. Is not influenced by emotion and feelings. There is something that we share. Don't you think it's important to work on values, to work on something that people can easily share? Everybody, even if we've got people from different environment, think about ourselves. We are a multicultural company, but I think you work as well in a multicultural company, or even if you work in a small company, there are people from different ages, different gender, different salary. We are all different. And we are lucky for this. But at the same time, we tend to forget how close we are if we share the same values. And I think we create a culture just by defining common effective rules. Maybe some of you could say, okay, yes, it can be. Some others, because our common effective, maybe shared, something missing here, shared values and not rules. Also because sometimes the rule can challenge the values. What if the rules challenges the values? Christopher Cersei was playing basketball with his friends when he was shot in the chest. And the bullet perforated his aorta. His friend left him 40 feet outside Renaissance Hospital in Chicago. And then he shouted for help and leave. He was afraid, he was scared to have some problem because of this situation. The hospital staff saw Christopher, but he refused. The hospital staff refused to have Christopher saying that it was against the hospital policy. Rule. That it was a good policy for an hygiene point of view. You cannot take some jerk inside the hospital for a safety and security point of view. But it was against the policy to administer aid to those outside the hospital, so they just called an ambulance. After a few minutes, the policeman was able to get the wheelchair and wheel Christopher inside the hospital. But it was late. Christopher died. And the day after, on the journal, it was written, teen dies at ends of hospital policies. Even if the rules are effective, good rules, sometimes it can be against our values. So I think we need to think about when we establish a new rule, is it correct for our values, it is shared from a value point of view. And of course, Peter Drucker, that is here, will say, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. That's a famous quote. And it's true. Okay, perfect. But if you look on the internet, if you ask to your consultants how we
Paolo, please excuse me, 2 minutes left.
2 minutes, perfect. How you can measure a safety culture? You can find out on the internet, on your consultants, a lot of different psychometric surveys. You can take a look on a lagging indicator, and it works. But at the same time, I want to be disruptive. How about love? And that's the reason why inside our campaign, which is called Value, which embrace people and their values, that is our health and safety way, we take care always on emotional feelings of people, and we tend to focus ourselves, of course, on leading lagging indicator, talking about laws, we are back to Aristotle, which are evidence, consistency, that it work. Also ethos, the incredible and trustworthy, but at the same time, don't lose the opportunity and don't forget to use pathos. This is my last video, and then I will close with just a couple of quotes.
Quina hauria de ser la xifra aquest any?
100, no sé, uns 200...
Un 20, un 25%.
Home, comparativament, doncs...
Jo crec que baixar als 200 seria un gran èxit.
Com a mínim hauríem de baixar a la meitat.
100 persones.
150. Si poguéssim arribar a 100...
Seria una baixada important.
Per sota dels 200.
I si jo et digués que només hi hauria 3 morts?
3? Doncs molt poques, la veritat.
Exageradament baixa.
Serien molt bones notícies.
Estaria molt bé.
Doncs ara mateix ho veig impossible.
No m'ho crec. Ojalà. Seria la millor notícia possible, no?
Seria una molt boníssima xifra.
Estaria contenta, perquè creuria que són poques.
Perfecte.
De fàbula.
Al·lucinant.
Seria una passada.
I si fossin aquests 3?
Vols que li donem una abraçada al Tepe? Una abraçada!
Qui són?
El meu home i els meus fills.
Que no tenia cap nom.
La meva dona i els meus fills.
Qui seria?
La meva família.
Els meus fills.
La meva dona i els meus fills.
La meva filla i la meva dona.
Els meus fills i la meva dona. La meva neta.
La meva filla i el meu marit.
Ai, no. Aquests noms són els meus nets.
No el papagat!
La meva germana. Em moro.
Quina creus que hauria de ser la xifra?
La resposta és 0. 0.
Tindria que ser 0.
0.
0.
0.
El número ideal és el 0. Sempre ha de ser 0.
Víctimes, 0.
0.
Cap ni una.
0. 0, 0.
Tots tenim família. A la carretera, víctimes 0. Generalitat de Catalunya.
We reduced our number of accidents. 2022 against 2012, we reduced 80% of our accidents and our injuries rates. But this is not enough. We want to reach 0 as soon as we can. And this is a disruptive, apologize me, intervention. But I wanted just to let you rethink about safety culture, reshaping, reassessing, and so on. Remember always that people hear you on the level you speak to them from. Speak from your heart, and they will hear with theirs. And also, you can speak well if your tongue can deliver the message of your heart. Thank you for your time, your listening, your energy, your passion, and what you can do about safety every day. So thank you for this. If you want to remain connected, these are all my connections just to share ideas, thoughts, and so on. So thank you very much. And if there is any question, I could be more than happy to answer it. If I can switch off. Okay, I need to close.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Paolo. Thank you. As usual, this last video you showed us it moves me every time. It's like a ballad in my head. It's something crazy, really. Okay, let's move on with the next